Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namaha. Sri Shukadev Goswami says, O King Parikshit, the natural inclination of every human being is to engage in material sense gratification, material affairs. They feel like doing that. They feel comfortable with material deeds. And these deeds create sin. So, those who stop engaging in sinful deeds or material sense gratification, they are called pious. When one freely engages, feels happy, breaking laws of the scriptures and God, engages in material activities, that is called impiety, because person becomes impious. The natural feeling of a living entity is to engage in that space where he is where he or she is born from, means urinal tract. That is the focus of every entity of this world. But those who try to understand that they should not solamente only focus on that space, that is called smart. Natural one who is born in the place becomes attached. For example, I am born in Vrindavan, the holy land of Lord Kṛṣṇa in India. And I'm very attached to Vrindavan. My mind is there always. Because it's natural inclination to be attached to one's birthplace. One day, Prabhupada was talking on Śrīmad Bhāgavatam topic. Yasyatma buddhi kunupaitri dhatuke swadhi kalatradisu bhomiye jati. That one who identifies his body that is made of bile, air, and mucus to be the self. One who is attached to his birthplace. Like that when he was telling. Later on, any questions? So I stood up. I asked. That I am very much attached to my birthplace. So am I a cow or a donkey? I'm very attached. So Srila Prabhupada told this. You are special, you are special. He said, you are already liberated, don't worry. You are attached to Vrindavan, you're very special. He said, you're very special. You're already liberated, he said. And Jayadvaita says that I am a big demon. And ISKCON thinks I am going to hell. So that means they're overpassing what Prabhupada says. They're overpassing. They're stepping over Prabhupada's statement. Because they know much more than a guru. When my guru was alive, they made him cry in many ways. He was so much disturbed by that. And now when he's no more there, Do it for Prabhupada because they cannot control. They're spiritually impotent. They cannot control their students, their disciples. They cannot chastise them and correct them. Not possible. Do it for Prabhupada, We should all love Prabhupada. But they are taking the worship. Like that, this kind of cheating. Very hellish. So we were talking that one should save, protect, control himself, herself from engaging only in material affairs. Sri Sukadeva Goswami says, every male and female naturally becomes inclined to copulate. They don't need to be taught. After birth will become mature, they don't need to be taught. They automatically go in there. Because since time immemorial, they're having all this. Since they contacted this earth, they have this habit. Many, no counts how many births they have passed doing, eating, sleeping, copulating, and defense. When nature, they engage in that activity. Moreover, because their body is made of combination of semen and ovum, because their body is made from the combination of ovum from female and semen from male at the time of copulation, they are born. That's why they want this kind of copulation most of the time, all the time. And they feel pleasure either passing semen or passing ovum. Unless woman passes ovum at the time of copulation, she feels very miserable. When man passes semen, he feels very happy. So both have to pass each other. I don't know the English word they use. When person is not satisfied with eating, sleeping, and drinking with food and water, then he or she looks for intoxication. Drinking liquor or taking many kinds of intoxication. Nowadays, the substances have come, heroin, coke, crack, and so many other names. So he or she can forget what misery they had whole day, anxieties, or forget the world and hallucinate, delude like that. Because it's very difficult to control desires. One has to be very fortunate to control the unwanted desires and keep them under control and not one means save oneself from acting irreligiously. Those who are able to control their desires, acting bad, they are called religious. There are 4 sinful pillars accepted. Loke bhavayame samatya seva nitya sujantu. Illicit copulation, meat, fish, eggs, onion, and garlic eating, taking any and every kind of intoxication, and gambling. These are the 4 pillars of sin decided in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. one who takes these out from their mind, they are called pious people. These four pillars should not be engaged in. One should not engage in these four sinful pillars, sinful deeds. Leaving mind free to engage in anything and everything, these sinful pillars, that is called irreligious deed, impiety. In the beginning of creation, in Satya Yuga, in beginning of Satya Yuga, the natural inclination or habit of every human being was to engage in religious deeds. There were no irreligious deeds. Nobody thought or known to any of or informed, introduced any irreligious deeds. That time everybody was spiritually inclined. Therefore, nobody would engage in any. They did not know what is irreligious deeds, what is sinful deed. They did not know. Because there were no irreligious deeds, there were no help to correct them. It's called correctional institution. Correctional institution, hell. And there was no Yamaraj, the in charge of hell, the superintendent of hell. There was no such a thing at that time. Because there was no sin, so punishment was not required. And that's why people did not die quickly. Garuda Purana says that those who engage in sinful deeds, they breathe very fast. And breathing is not deep. They breathe up and quickly. When they're copulating, both are working. At that time, they reduce because the numbers of breathing is already decided at the time of landing on earth. When person takes birth, when he lands on earth, at that time, how many times this person, living entity, person will breathe is decided. So when they engage in both activities, so they breathe fast. The both become quickly tired. So they reduce span of life. But when one engages, stopping this, engages in spiritual life, they breathe deep. The breathing is very deep because they live. They cannot, those who know spiritual life correctly, they do not right away engage in spiritual life. They purify themselves first. They purify the mind, they purify the eyes, they purify the mouth, they purify the heart, they purify hands and feet and the bottoms. They purify the navel. And then they perform pranayam, then engage in spiritual deed. So they breathe very deep and long breathing. So no quick breathing. So that's why in Satyuga, people did not die so quickly. They had a long duration of life because everybody was pious and meritorious. That's why heavenly people, demigods, they came down to earth. And many people from earth went to heaven and they became friends each other. They were fraternity. All the demigods and demigoddesses became so friendly with human beings. There were practically no difference between both. When time passed in Satyuga Sam, then slowly some sinful deeds occurred. Slowly some sinful deeds occurred. Like Valmiki was there. As sinful deeds occurred, Lord Brahma thought, oh, people are engaging in sinful deeds. Therefore, some rules have to be established for what is sinful deed and what is not sinful deed. So he established. And then, because sinners increased, Lord Brahma thought of selecting one governor. So he appointed one demigod to be the governor of hell, because he created hell. It's called correctional institution. So created hell. So Yamaraj asked, what is my duty? So he said, you people come, you bring them here and punish them and correct them and then send them back. So he said, where will I search so many people? Where would I go my alone? So he said, please give me some messengers so they can go and pick up and I'll put them. And I need an accountant who can count what sins they have done, how much. So Yamaraj gave them ferocious, bhayankar messengers. They could bring the sinners from earth. They have all subtle bodies. So only subtle body can see, gross body cannot see. And then he saw a secretary. Then looking, he found a Brahmin-like person. Not a Brahmin, but Brahmin-like a person performing austerities, he saw. So Brahma reached him and said, I give you a boon, many kinds you want, your desire, but you have to do what I say. He agreed, because creed of receiving a boon is a very big object. So he was selected to be the secretary accountant of Yamaraj. His name was Chitragupta. Even till today, he is still there and will carry on existing, because Lord Brahma gave him life till annihilation of this planet. Then Lord Brahma thought, the controller of messengers, or what you call death personified, presiding deity of death is required, because person has to die. So he created a presiding deity of death called Mrityu. And Mrityu said, I will be criticized by everybody. Everybody will be scared of me and they will talk bad about me. I will have a bad name, that I am killing everyone. So Lord Brahma thought, wow, he don't want to do his service. Then he created diseases. Rogas. And he created certain amount of diseases. As age is increased, diseases increase too. Even in our lifetime, the ferocious disease was tuberculosis. And then later on became cancer came. And now AIDS came, and something else will come. All they are increasing and incurable diseases like that. So Lord Brahma told the deity of death that don't need to worry. People will think the person has died with such and such disease. Due to that disease, died, he or she died. Don't worry about you. Nobody will talk bad about you. Don't worry. You just go and pick up when person is influenced by disease. So when death personified picks up, people think, this person died due to cancer or heart failure or brain failure or tuberculosis or malaria or don't know what else. So that deity of death, Mrityu, would catch people and hand over to death messengers of Yamaraj, called Yamadutas. They will come ferocious and they will scare. Sometimes pass stool and urine, that guy. because he's not yet out from the physical body and he's seeing the Yamadutas. I remember this. I received a call from one of my American God brothers. It was in the morning, I think. Yes, it was morning. I received a call. Those days, only line phones in Vrindavan. You know, Samal Kṛṣṇa died. I said, oh, really? My goodness, temple was open. So I said, oh, wow. It's a big thing. You know how he died? With a tree accident on the tree. I said, really? How did he live? You know, he saw Yamadutas, he said. These were his words. He saw Yamadutas because his eyes were open wide, so wide that it's impossible. His eyes were very wide open. And his mouth was half open. He saw like this. He told me that over the phone. He's telling. So when one sees a sinful person, doesn't matter what clothes he wears, he or she, don't matter how he or she thinks, that makes no difference to the higher authority. These were his words. He told me over the phone he saw Yamadutas, and then he came after that to my place. And he said his head had to be cut open to close his eyes. Because they have to put in samadhi. I told him no samadhi for death. Accidental death, no samadhis. A corona is killing now. That is accidental death. No samadhi to be placed for such people. But they did it anyway. Second call came. And they asked me that. And I told him, don't put in samadhi, burn his body in the bank of Ganges, take him to Mayapur, because somewhere in Bengal it happened. So take him to Ganges and throw his ashes in the Ganges, burn him, don't put samadhi. And still why they asked for advice, if they don't want to follow. They want to do what they want to do. And they will do what they want to do. Even if they are advised rightly, do you think they are devotees? What makes you think they are devotees? Because they look like devotees? Because they got a lot of money, that's why they're devotees? They got a lot of buildings, that's why they are devotees? They have skills of advertisement, that's why they are devotees? Hamsadutta told me that. We don't have good devotional service. We don't know, we have no attitude. You can do good devotional service. We cannot. We only know how to advertise it. He told me this. That was 35 years ago. And I told many people, that's what Hamsadutta told. Many people know that. What Hamsadutta told. We know. This part of the world, people don't know how to do pure devotional service. He said this. And he loved me a lot. Then Sukadeva Goswami says that Brahma told the death presiding deity of death, Mrityu, no matter pious or impious, when the time of death comes, you kill them by introducing them these kinds of diseases. And people will think he died like that. And send them through messengers to Yamaraj. And Yamaraj will ask his secretary, open the account. The account is open. Then they will tell. So if they're pious, they will be directly sent to heaven. If they're impious, then they will be sent to hell. Third day, as per Garuda Purana, third day after death, that subtle body, that sinful entity is sent to ground from hell, because all the accounts are open. And then hells are decided which hell person has to go. then goes after 9 days. 9 days it stays, then go back, and then taken by Yamadutas to certain hell to purify. Like that. That's why on 13th day, some people do on 12th day too. 13th day, because 3 days there and 9 days here, 12 days, 13th day fire sacrifice is held to purify the house where a person died. And Brahmins are invited to feed and take charity. 13th day, like that. That is the rule. So, in Satyuga, there are 84 hells were created. Among them, 21 were main. Main hells, important names. We'll discuss later on. When Treta Yuga came, sins increased, kind of sins, many categories happened. Then 8,400 hells, 8,400 hells. In Dwapar Yuga, more sins came, more sinful people, different kinds of sins were occurring. So 84,000 hells were there. In Kali Yuga, there are 8,400,000 kinds of hells are there, because that many kinds of sins people are doing. For one sin, one hell. Sometimes sinners are so bad that one hell is not enough for them to cure their problem. Purify them from sins. They have to be taken to many categories of hell for their rectification, purification, like that. Best is to keep control over mind and not engage, even though desiring, craving for sinning. That is best. But if it is not possible, and then you engage in some deed, sinful deed, then before you depart from this world, you must rectify that sin, so you don't go to suffer in the hell. Now you may ask, how do I know how to rectify my sins? Then only two people know. What rectification one is required, how much? Guru, authentic Guru, who knows scriptures in way out, number one. Number two, the scriptures. Two. One is immovable, one moves. One is not breathing, another is breathing. Only two people on this planet Earth, they know what kind of rectification person is required to prevent that person from going to hell. And one who rectifies their sins before dying, they are the very intelligent people. They are called intelligent. Those who die without rectifying, they don't even care. Those who say, I don't care what happens to me after death. I have heard it. And they claim to be devotees. They're claiming to be devotees. I don't care what happens. Who sees the hell? I want to do what I want to do. And they freely engage. So egotistic, they don't care about divine authority. Such class of people are called ignorant, less intelligent people, because they are taken to Yamaraj and punished back and forth. I told you, sometimes one hell is not enough. They are carried so many hells. Nobody can establish which activity is pious, which activity is impious, which is sinful deed, which is not sinful deed, pious deed. Nobody can establish. Only Guru and Kṛṣṇa, two people. The Guru is not Guru if he is not a pure devotee. A pure devotee is not a pure devotee if he don't know scriptures thoroughly. Such class of pure gurus, they know which deed is sinful, which deed is not sinful. And the scriptures. You cannot establish with your own ego about which deed is pious, which deed is impious. Your ego don't work. Like calling me a demon. This guy himself is living in Vrindavan there somewhere, spending money, being American. What is he doing there? Why he's living in Vrindavan? Why does he go to Vrindavan? And he's telling me that I'm going to hell. Would the divine authority accept what he said? I remember there was one Girvaradhari, an Englishman. 1975, I was preaching in Surat, India, Gujarat. And he brought out, white men brought out, because I was whole day coming preaching and there was nothing cooked. We put him in charge for cooking to make khichdi. And he put his bread and thread and said, I curse you, go to hell. I said, really? Your words, divine authority will accept. I worked the whole day collecting money. My guru wants money. And then I told you to cook and you cannot even make khichdi. And you know how I taught you how to make khichdi. So like that, one should not be independent-minded. One should be humble. Let's be humble. What do we lose if being humble? What do we gain if we are egotistic? Why we have to be egotistic? Let's be humble, nice. Only scriptures and Guru says, oh, one must surrender to a pure devotee who knows scriptures properly. He, not see, he, never see, he will tell you how to rectify your sins. Without Guru's help, one cannot become free from going to hell. Not possible. Everybody is sinning some way or other, at least telling lies, but not. That is human goal, not go to hell. And only one way, that is to accept a pure devotee who knows scripture thoroughly. If you don't have that kind of guru, forget him. Surrender to another time, to another guru. That is the only way to rectify sins. Thank you very much.